Yo, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Damontae bringing you a banger. Don't forget to follow on my Twitch, please. This is where we have daily content. Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy Psychopath Crazy Maniac Man spreading malice, bringing you a banger. Welcome to the best gambler builds. Some of the builds that will be in this video will be things like sniper rifle, AR, DMR, and things like the LMG. For anyone who doesn't know what Gambler is or how it works, Gambler essentially heals itself with ammo packets. It does have some other things like ammo give out where it gives your teammates 50% of the normal pickup, etc. The big thing here is just that you need to collect ammo packets to keep yourself alive with the perk X ability. You just have to consider that your teammates also need to use ammo packets just to be able to keep themselves alive and use their guns. So in that standpoint, Gambler can be hard to survive because your teammates could be taking the things that you could be healing off of. So, let's go over the skills for the build here. I have uppers for first aid kit, health regens, so I can be aggressive. I've got myself partners in crime, so I can get a health increase, which allows me to be at about half HP when I get shot from 225. Next I have graze, which is my main source of damage here. Next I'm grabbing things like bullseye, shock and awe passive armor regen, and also grabbing diehard with the 20 armor extra for my ballistic vest. Next I'm grabbing things like steady grip all the way up to surefire so that my SMG is actually pretty nice. Next I'm grabbing things like inner pockets to conceal that ballistic vest because this is a concealed build. Next I'm grabbing things like crits, full crits, high value target, and concealment. For the weapons here I'm using the Contractor 308 built for concealment. I'm using the Contractor silencer. Next I'm using the accuracy. Next I'm using a micro laser. As for the grips, you've got a couple of options. I went for the skeletal. As for the sights, you can always put on a secondary angled grip for the extra, +1. For the actual sight, I like to see more, but you can pretty much place any of them on there. For the stocks, you've got a couple of options, but I'm using the skeletal folding stock. Now, as for the secondary weapons here, I'm using the small Kxng AK, which I'm using the low profile suppressor. Then I'm pairing it with a concealment boost. Next, I'm grabbing things like the aluminum foregrip for the stability, and I'm grabbing the micro laser. There's a couple of good options here, but I went for the AK rubber grip for the concealment and the stability. Next, I'm grabbing the speed pull mag. It does minus concealment, so you can, swap it out. Next, you can throw a sight on here, but it will cost you the very last point of your detection, so I didn't. As for the stock, I went for the skeletal. And for the upper receiver, you can go for it for that little bit of extra damage, but it does minus out your accuracy, so I actually didn't go for it. The next setup here is a Gambler assault rifle build. This is using the Union 5.56. It pretty much just plays like any other build that's a AR build essentially. The main thing here is that you're wanting to collect your ammo so that your build does what it does, basically. As for the skills in the build here, we grab ourselves uppers for the aggressive playstyle. We also grab ourselves 2 jokers with hostage taker ace so that we get passive HP regens, and HP increase, and double joker. Next I'm grabbing passive armor regens, ballistic armor increase, and I'm grabbing bullseye. Next I'm grabbing things like steady grip, surefire, and body expertise. Then I'm grabbing myself full crits with optical illusions and professional to make this build be full crit. And then lastly we're grabbing equilibrium, Now as for the weapons here, we go for the Union 5.56. I personally like this gun, but it's pretty meta, so I don't like to use it very often, but what I went for was the bigger the better suppressor, being mindful of my concealment. Next we grab things like the concealment. And keep in mind, you do have a bit of detection risk that you can work with here, so it's not like what I'm showing you has to be exact. Next, I'm grabbing the compact laser. As for the magazines, I know the speed pull mag, is a concealment minus, but we have the, chance to do so it's okay. Next, you got a couple of good options here. If you need the concealment, you can go for it, but I didn't. For the sights, I go for the Seymour sight. As for the secondary here, we're not running shock and awe once again, and we need something for shield, so we went for the 5.7. We go for the tin treated barrel. Next we grab the, however you pronounce that, suppressor for the concealment and the accuracy, or for the concealment and stability boost, my bad. Next we grab a concealment. Once again, you don't have to grab a concealment here, you have plenty of detection risk to work for. As for the gadgets, micro laser. As for the magazine, we go for the increased mag because there's no real disadvantage. And as for the sights, you could go for any sight here, but I just opted to not go for one. Here's everyone's favorite build, the LMG Gambler setup. This one plays just like any other, LMG setup. You kind of pick a position, you defend it with your LMG. The actual LMG doesn't matter necessarily because it's Gambler, so you could pretty much choose any of them and you'll have ammo for it. Now, as for the skills in the build here, we go for first aid kits and the quick fix ace for the 2 minutes of 10% damage reduction, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Next, I'm grabbing hostage taker for the passive regen and having the extra HP increase, as I explained on the first build. This is here so that when I do take 225 damage, I'm left at about half HP. Next, I'm grabbing Iron Man. That's where the first aid kits for 2 minutes of 10% damage reduction comes into play. My 221 armor is now 2-shot, and I have 2-shot HP, so it allows my build to be that much more stronger. Next, I'm grabbing things like body expertise and pairing this with surefire, which is, very nice in an LMG build. Next, I'm grabbing things like unseen strike, high value target, and the professional. As for the weapon here, I'm using the M60 with the bigger the better, which is accuracy and stability. I do grab a bipod because it does come in handy. As for the boosts here, I go for the accuracy, not the stability. For foregrips, you get a couple of good options, but I actually opted for the modernized foregrip, which gives me +4 to the accuracy. Lastly, I go for the LED combo because we do have pretty low, stability in this build, but it doesn't really affect it that much in my opinion. Now, as for the secondary here, we opted for the AP pistol since we didn't grab, shock and awe and things like that, so we have the tin treated barrel for stability and accuracy. Next is the champion suppressor for the accuracy boost. We go also for an accuracy boost. Next we go for the micro laser. It doesn't really matter, it's a pistol, stability doesn't matter here. As for the magazine, we get that +4 for no disadvantage. And then for the sights, we grab the red dot, which gives us just a better angle to hit stuff basically. Doesn't really affect the accuracy or anything. The last build in the video here is a DMR Gambler setup. I actually really enjoy DMRs. They, kind of are fairly meta, but with the DMR setup with Gambler, you're pretty much never running out of ammo. As for the skills in the build here, we grab ourselves quick fix for the 2 minutes of damage reduction, and we pair that with first aid kits. Next, we're grabbing ourselves 2 jokers, a health increase, and hostage taker for the passive regens. Next, I'm grabbing myself ammo efficiency because this is a DMR build and it kind of plays nice with it. Next, I'm grabbing things like bullseye, passive armor regens, and resilience. Also being mindful to grab myself a damage boost and scavenger. Next, I'm grabbing things like steady grip for the stability, accuracy, and surefire so that I can pierce armor. Next, I'm grabbing things like full crits, optical illusions, and suppressor skills, while also having high value target for the specials. Now, as for the gun here, we're using the DMR kit so that we get around 170 damage. It also has a bunch of other boosts here, but main thing is the damage value. Next, I'm grabbing the bigger the better suppressor for the accuracy, stability, and still being mindful of our concealment here. For the boost, we go for concealment. As for the foregrips, you got a whole bunch of them here. I went for the EMO foregrip, which gives us accuracy, stability, and concealment. Last, I'm going for the compact laser. Next, I'm going for the titanium skeletal grip. There's a couple of good options in here, but this is what I went for. Next, there's 2 good options here. I went for the thrust one, which gives me a little bit more damage. You can go for the other one that gives you accuracy and stability. I just opted to not really worry about it. Next, I have the speed pull mag. You can, swap for any of the mags here, but I went for the speed pull. Next, you can give yourself that extra, concealment with the angled sight. For sights here, it's purely optional. I went for the Seymour. As for the stocks, you got a bunch of options. I went for the folding stock, though. mostly just for the concealment. As for the receivers, I went for the LW receiver. It really has no disadvantages of using it. Now as for the secondaries here, we went for the Micro Uzi, which is using the Medeved R4 suppressor, which gives us accuracy, stability, and a good concealment value. As for the boosts, we're going for concealment. As for the gadget, it's a micro laser. As for the stock, I went for the no stock option. Now keep in mind, if you do mess with your other gun or swap the guns, you can actually get the, the stock on here if you really need it, but for the most part, it's 100 stability. You don't need it. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate you guys watching this video. This was the best gambler builds by DamontaeKxng. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. If you did, please subscribe to the video. Hit that like button, comment what your build that you prefer to use or what your favorite parts of the video was, and have a good day.